Hello, good evening, Venkat sir. How are you?
I'm fine, Jenish. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, thank you for
It's a
coming,
privilege.
sir. And it's been a huge honor to have a episode with you. So please introduce about yourself.
So, Jenish, my name is Venkat Ramana Rao. I stay in Pune. I worked in Indian Navy, and 96 I retired, and thereafter working in different places. And finally, I took me to my favorite pastime, that is studying Advait Vedanta. So right now, I'm a student of Advait Vedanta. That brief introduction should be good enough, I believe.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's going to be a huge episode today discussing about Advait Vedanta philosophy, Sanātana Dharma. So looking forward to it, sir. And so we're gonna start with first, like, what is Hinduism?
Well, what do you understand by Hinduism? Or let's say, if I ask this question to a Muslim, define what makes you a Muslim. So very easily he'll tell a couple of things that, okay, I do namaz and I have a book called Quran. A prophet is Muhammad. Similarly, if you ask a Christian to define himself, he'll say, yes, Jesus Christ is what we believe in. We go to church, and Bible is a holy book. So these are kind of answers which are very quick to come. But if you ask the same question to an Indian, are you a Hindu? Then you'll get multiple answers. For example, somebody may say, "Am I Hindu because I go to temple, or maybe I put tilak and bhasma on my forehead, I wear rudraksha, maybe I go to temples or I celebrate festivals, or maybe I go to Amarnath and Vaishno Devi or Tirupati on pilgrimages, and I take holy dips in Ganges. So maybe that's why I'm a Hindu." But actually, that is not the case. All things external, whatever we see, doesn't define a Hindu at all. So we need to understand the fundamental principles, which we will be speaking about on this topic in today's meeting. So, what are the fundamental principles, or the pillars, or the foundation of being a Hindu? In fact, this word Hindu itself is a misnomer. Many of us do not know that we are not Hindus actually. So you might say, then what are we? We are actually Sanatanis. So next thing is, if somebody is to ask you, what is the meaning of Sanatana Dharma? Sanatana means eternal, timeless, beginningless, endless. Now, the principal difference between Hinduism, or let's say Sanatana Dharma, and all other religions per se in the world, be it Christianity, Buddhism, Jainism, Islam, Sikhism, there is a major difference. These are all known as sampradayas, and dharma is only one, Sanatana Dharma in the world. The reason why the others are known as sampradayas are because they have a prophet or somebody who began that religion. It did not exist before the advent of Christ. There was no Christianity. Before the advent of Prophet Muhammad, there was no Islam. Before the advent of Guru Nanak, there was no Sikhism. So if you go on seeing this, all this started with a personality, somebody who began that. And they generally will have one text, which they're called their holy books. Like Christians have Bible, uh, Muslims have Quran, Sikhs have Guru Granth Sahib, and so on. But if the same question has to be asked a Hindu, which is a holy book? Now there's a such a vast literature. You can't single point pinpoint and say, uh, if I say Ramayana, is it Ramayana? Is it Bhagavad Gita? Or is it Upanishad? Is it Vedas? Is it Brahma Sutras? Or is it Puranas? Is it Smritis, Manusmriti and all? There's a lot of confusion. We actually can't pinpoint and say this is a particular, and can we say that XYZ person, Rishi or Muni, started this dharma? We can't. That's the reason why it is known as Sanatana, timeless. So we don't know when it began. It is said it began at the time of creation, and it will go on as long as the creation is existing.
So we can say that it's not a religion, but it's a way of living. It's a philosophy.
That is what generally is understood. Apart from way of living, the fundamental differences are quite a few. So before we say I am a Hindu, I'll give you a brief introduction about this word Hindu. What happened? We know about Indus Valley civilization. We must have heard about. Actually, it is the people who were living on the banks of Sindhu Nadi. So the Persians and the Arabs, when they were trading with these people, they in their language they don't have a word called her, a sir. So they called it as her. So somehow people who were living in this part of the Sindhu, they started calling them as Hindus. And over a period of time, this title stuck to the people and it carried forward to the modern age. And today, we are popularly known as Hindus. Otherwise, we are actually Sanātana Dharma followers, and maybe we could have been called as Aryans because ancient people called themselves Aryans. And Aryans were not what you call somebody who came from the Europe or somebody, they were the natives of this land. So that's about the word Hindu. And Sanatana Dharma, as I said, it is timeless. Now, what are the fundamental principles of being a Hindu? So let's take them one by one. So if you want to call yourself a Hindu, the first thing we need to understand is that our primary source of knowledge comes from the Vedas. After the Vedas are the Upanishads, and then we have Brahma Sutras, and then Bhagavad Gita, then we have Itihasas, two Itihasas, Ramayana and Mahabharata, then we have 18 Puranas, and so many other Upavedas and Shastras, Dharma Shastras. So there's a body of literature. So if anyone says, I believe in Vedas, then it is one of the fundamental principles of calling yourself as a Hindu. Then the next fundamental principle is uh, many people may ask, you may ask, do Hindus follow many gods or one god? I think that's one of the questions.
It was
Logically.
actually the follow-up. I had in the mind that, I was just going to ask that there are many gods in this, in Hindu religion.
Yes.
I mean, okay, the Hindu is not a religion. Hindu is a word which is a geographical word, we can say once. But then there are gods, so they belong to the Sanātana Dharma. So how do we see that the gods are, related to the Sanātana Dharma?
So the question is, I'll clarify this question a little bit. Do Hindus worship one god or many gods? That's a common question we all have in mind. For example, I could be a devotee of Rama, somebody could be a devotee of Vishnu, other person can be a devotee of Ganesha, somebody can worship Hanumanji, and still other somebody who's Kali Mata like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So outwardly, we may seem to be worshipping 100 different gods, so-called gods. Even a commonly misunderstood phrase called 33 koti devi devta hai. So that actually is not the reality. What happens is, for example, if I had to ask you, you are a son to your parents, right? Then you are a brother to either your sister and or brother. You are a friend to your friend. You are employee to your company, and you are a citizen of this country, and you are a student of your school, teacher. Now, these are all the different roles, but are you so many or you're one? You're one, correct?
Yes.
So, in essence, what happens is we worship one God, but different forms. There are many forms. Like an actor in a movie, in one film, he can be a hero. In other film, he can be a character role. In third film, he could be a villain. Fourth movie, he could be a comedian. He's donning different makeups and he's doing performing different characters. But in person, that actor is only one. So the essence what we worship is only one God, but there are different forms. Now you might ask, what is the purpose of having these different forms? Why so many forms? So what happened? There was a gathering of spiritual masters from different religions in one of the foreign countries, and a journalist asked the same question. Just now, Swamiji, you said God is one, but we find that somebody in your country is worshipping elephant god, somebody is worshipping a monkey god, somebody is worshipping another god with 10 hands. So how can God be one? So the Swamiji smiled and he said, "Can I ask you one question?" So he said, "Yeah, of course." He said, "How many, what do you call, members are there in your family?" He said, "My wife and 2 children." He said, "When you go to a restaurant and you want to eat, do you eat, just order one dish and all of you are happy eating the same dish?" He said, "No, no, no. My children like pizza. I like something different." Then he asked, "Can I ask him a couple of more questions?" Yes, sir. He said, when you go for buying clothes, do you buy the same color, same pattern, and everybody in the family stitches the dress according to? He says, "No, no, no, no. Everybody wants different patterns, different colors, designs." So, but then he says, "What are you aiming at?" He says, "See, in a family of just four of you, you want variety. And this variety seeking is inherent in each human being. And our ancient rishis understood this quest of human beings because they are attracted to different forms. So they said, you worship whatever form you fall in love with or you like. That's why there's a concept of Ishta Devata in Sanātana Dharma. So you can worship even a mountain or a river or a tree or any form. It could be a Shiva, it could be a Vishnu, it could be Ganesh, Hanuman, anybody. So that freedom is given to Sanatana Dharma followers, that no matter whatever deity you want to worship, ultimately it is only one essence, the one God. The praise will go to one God. In fact, in Sanskrit, there's a Subhashitam which says, Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam prati gacchati. What does it mean is, what as the water falls from the sky into different what you call water bodies, it could be a river, it could be a pond, it could be a lake, but ultimately all waters go and merge in the ocean. So similarly, whenever you pray to any deity, any form, ultimately it reaches only one God. So Hindus actually pray to only one God, but multiple forms, depending on our liking.
Uh, what is the meaning of God actually? I mean, the word God is not a Sanatan word, right? Uh, what is called God in Sanatan language?
Well, God as sitting in seventh heaven or 11th heaven is not the concept of what we find in Sanatana Dharma or in the Vedas. In fact, during the Vedic period, they did not have a idol worship per se, or they did not have forms. So they actually worship the different aspects of nature which were visible to us. For example, the sun. So you'll find a lot of hymns in praise of the sun, then rivers, then mountains, and rain. So they were actually worshiping the five elements of nature. So later on, slowly it came to the because nature is so huge and it is difficult to concentrate or meditate upon at times. So you need a form, a point where which you can concentrate. So the form started coming inside the worship act. Now the God in Sanatana Dharma is known as in different vertical context either as the self, Paramatman, Ishvara. So the concept of Ishvara is very different, and it is said the self within each one of us is like the ocean and a drop. So all the qualities of the ocean are there within the drop. There is no difference. The only difference is the limitation which we have of this physical entity called the body. So there's a fundamental difference between the concept of God as understood in other religions and Sanātana Dharma.
So what are the broad categories of of goals meant for Hindus?
Yes. Now Hindus are supposed to have four purusharthas, the goals in life. In Kali Yuga, the lifespan of a human being is considered to be 100 years. In 100 years from birth till you exit, what are you supposed to do? There are certain goals in life. So the goals are broadly classified into four types. So what are they? They are dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Now these are the four goals which are known as four purusharthas. Purusharthas means you have to take action and achieve those goals. So dharma, the first thing which should come in life is dharma. Dharma here doesn't mean religion. Let's understand this dharma. It defies what you call a translation into any other language because it is a very 360-degree meanings are there. So dharma cannot be just ethicals or morals or let's say values or principles. The nearest word in English, what we understand today, dharma as duty. But then dharma goes much, much beyond all this. Dharma encompasses all this plus much more. For example, one of the definitions of dharma is dharayati iti dharma, which means one that upholds or maintains something is its dharma. Let's understand this with an example. What is the dharma of sugar? Sweetness. What is the dharma of fire? It is heat. What is the dharma of water? It can be fluidity or coolness. So, what is Manav Dharma? One who lives as a human being, following all the values which make a person as a human being, is Manav Dharma. So, like this, Dharma has got multiple what you call connotations in Sanātana Dharma.
So there are other elements, dharma, moksha.
Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Now, I'll explain. So, first thing which should come in your life is dharma, which means you should understand not only your aptitude for what you're good at doing and how to live in society with other people, how to take care of yourself and the society, the family, the nation, everything, as well as what is your ultimate goal in life? What have you come here for? So that is also taught as part of a dharma. And then next, moving on to that, so you have to earn also based on your skills, your aptitude, and your inclination. You learn some profession from the guru, and then based on that, you're supposed to earn, which is kama means all desires. So fulfilling of desires is to be based on what you earn based on dharma, not adharmic activities. So today we see you can earn money through corruption also, through cheating, through doing a lot of scams. But that is not the right way of earning money. With that money also people are able to fulfill their desires. But here you are supposed to earn your living based on dharma and then fulfill all your desires. So during this next phase of life, desires can be fulfilled by earning money, which is based on dharmic activities. And the third phase of life, third Purushartha is Artha and Kama. Now, Artha and Kama are together, they both, because desires, Artha means money which you earned, wealth which you accumulated, and Kama means desires. You fulfill these two goals in the next phase. And the last, the Moksha. Moksha is what? Moksha, like some people say, okay, Moksha means total liberation, doing nothing. No, no. Moksha is freedom in action, not freedom from action. Nobody can be free from action as long as it's in the body. But if you have, for example, there is a jailer and there is a prisoner. Now, prisoner is bound by the rules of the jail manual. So he'll be let out only at certain point of time. He has to do certain work and then go back inside the uh, room and be locked up. He can't. He doesn't have the freedom of movement. Similarly, but superintendent of the same jail, he is the boss, so he can come anytime. He can go anytime. Now, both are doing actions, but one has got freedom in action, whereas the other person doesn't have. So, moksha similarly is freedom in action, not freedom from action. So, these are the four goals which are prescribed for all Hindus.
What directions are given to Hindus, for achieving their goals?
Very good. Now, similarly, since we know the four goals of life, so what instructions are there to how to go about this? So, this also a very clearly defined roadmap is given to Hindus. Now, as we discuss in Kali Yuga, let's say the life of a human being is considered to be 100 years. So, there are four different categories of this time, which are known as Brahmacharya Ashram, Grahastha Ashram, Vanaprastha Ashram, and Sannyasa Ashram. Now, broadly, these are divided into 25 years of each. So, in the first 25 years of your age, like we go to school and college and get a degree and higher education, and we then qualify for a job. Similarly, in Sanātana Dharma, the first ashram is Brahmacharya ashram, in which dharma is learned. That's why you go to a Gurukula, stay with a guru, and learn not only your skill, but also about so many other duties and responsibility which you have to fulfill. Now, after passing out from the Gurukula, he comes to the Grahastha Ashrama. So, in the Grahastha Ashrama, now remember, he has to earn. That means Kama and Artha and Kama. So, as the Grahastha, he'll be needing money, Artha, and he'll be fulfilling desires, having a family, children, a house, worldly comforts, and things like that. So, those are fulfilled in the next phase of life, that is 25 to 50 years. So, that is Grahastha Ashrama. Now, at the age of 50, you enter a third phase of your life, which is known as Vanaprastha Ashrama. So, Vanaprastha is whatever you have studied during your Brahmacharya Ashram, that is student life, about Dharma, now you have to reflect upon them and start thinking and reading, and slowly you detach yourself from your social responsibilities. By the time your children would be old enough to earn their own money, they are settling down. So you are slowly supposed to be now concentrating on your own evolution. So you slowly detach yourself from society and the family affairs, not totally, but you're slowly weaning yourself away from that. So in the olden days, there were a lot of ashramas in forest. That's why it is known as Vanaprastha, which means you are supposed to go to prasthan towards the Vana. So you are supposed to go to the forest and live there along with the gurus and rishis and start learning more about the scriptures and things. At the age of 75, you enter the final phase of your life, which is known as sannyas ashrama. So in sannyas ashrama, now the 25 years of reflection, study of scriptures in Vanaprastha helps you to now totally concentrate yourself on your liberation, because you now know the energy is becoming less and less, the body is becoming old and incapable. So beyond 75 to 100, you are supposed to do tapas, meditate, and finally try to get out of this cycle of repeated life and birth. That is sannyas ashrama. So the four purusharthas are very clearly linked with the four ashramas. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and here we have brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas ashrama.
So, sir, why these all scriptures were, written in Sanatan Dharma? What was the need for that? What is the purpose of, studying all the scriptures? As you said, that you have to stay in the jungle and then with the gurus, and you have to understand the scriptures, learn, you have to be in their schools and understand the whole awareness of your body and your energy. What was the need for that? Why it came that it should be created and it should be spread all over the humanity?
Now, I think there are two questions. You said, what is the need of scriptures, number one, and second, what is the need of right, of spreading this knowledge? First of all, we go to schools and colleges and we study so many subjects. Then, when we come to college, don't we what you call specialize in one field? In college we may take arts, we may take commerce, we may take science, and then when we go for post graduation you further what you call specialize in something very different. And when you go to PhD, it is even narrower. You focus on very something very very unique, which very few people do. Why can't we keep studying and becoming doctors, lawyers, engineers, CAs, accountants, and everything? It is impossible, right? Although books are there, teachers are there, universities are there, it is impossible to learn all the subjects and retain in your mind. So what happens is in Sanatana Dharma, scriptures are written. We need written word to keep referring to. So the scriptures guide you. The basic principles are few, but explanations are different through stories. Some like stories. So in Puranas, it is told through different stories because they're easy to understand. So then there are some do's and don'ts are given in some books. So there are dharma shastras. So books are scriptures are like beacons of light. You have lighthouses to guide ships so that they don't crash onto the rocks on the shore. Similarly, scriptures guide us what to do, what not to do, how to live your life. Like we have 10 commandments in Christianity in the Old Testament. So scriptures are like beacons of light to guide us, to help us, and to evolve ourselves into a better version of our own selves. That's why scriptures are required. And because there are so many different minds, which are, like we said, we have so many different forms, and we like those. Similarly, here, when you go to a library or a bookshop, there are different sections of book. There is self-help, there is fiction, there is right. So similarly, in Sanatana Dharma, you are given a vast variety of scriptures so that you pick up whichever you love and you start following that. And the need for spreading this knowledge, see, only in Sanatana Dharma, there is a saying called Ayam Nija Paroveti Ganana Laguchetasam Udara Charitam Namtu Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Even Modi ji keeps repeating the Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The concept of world as one single family comes from the Vedas, not from any other religion. You will find this concept treating all different races of all humanity as one interconnected family. So that's why the followers of Sanatana Dharma, they are able to live in harmony with anyone in this world. Wherever we go, Hindus are very, very peaceful and law-abiding citizens. Correct. Recently, we saw a huge temple which was inaugurated by President Prime Minister Modi ji. So they also understand that we are the most peaceful and harmonious people because we treat everybody as a family member.
Sir, does atheist has a place in Sanatana Dharma?
Absolutely. Even if you don't believe in any personal God or Paramatma, you are still a Hindu, you are still a follower of Sanatana Dharma. Because remember the example of the drop in the ocean? So at least the atheist believes in himself. He cannot deny that I don't exist. So the atheist has to say, I exist and I understand, I am able to decide, I am able to perform action, I am able to see the fruit of my action, and I am living and I'm breathing. So he can't deny his own existence. So he's very much part of Sanatana Dharma because Sanatana Dharma principle itself says Sat, Chit, Ananda, the three aspects of the Paramatman, the ocean. Sat is what is existent, existence itself. So the atheist cannot say, I don't exist. Even to say, I don't exist, he'll have to use his tongue and speech and his mind. Then Chitta is all the memories, wisdom. So atheists can't say, I don't have memory, I don't have wisdom, I can't think. And Ananda is bliss. Or even atheist feels happy and peaceful and serene. So he can't say that I never felt peaceful or happy in my life.
So what is the significance of physical body and soul in Sanatan?
Okay, the soul is a concept of the West, basically. So we have something called Jeevatmaa. Very often, whenever you find somebody passed away, immediately on WhatsApp, we say RIP, rest in peace. So that is not what Sanatana Dharma, what you call, says, because the concept of soul is that in Christians and Islam, they bury the body, the physical body, because they have a theory called on the doomsday or on Qayamat Ka Din, the dead will rise and then there will be a judgment day on which all the people will be either sent to eternal hell or eternal heaven. Either you'll go to Jannat or you'll go to Jahannam. So that is not the concept because they believe that there is only one life. In Sanatana Dharma, the body is just a vehicle or it's like a house in which we live. So, who is living in this body? We need to understand that concept first. That is the Atman, or it is said Jeevatma. Now, the concept of Jeevatma is very, very unique to Sanatana Dharma because this Jeevatma has got is made up of three different bodies. One is the physical body, which is the house in which it is living, or the vehicle in which it is traveling. And then it has got many other components which make a subtle body. For example, you can't see your mind, but you know you have a mind. Correct? You can't see your pranas, but you're breathing. The pranas which are going inside are very subtle. They're doing so many different jobs. Similarly, your thoughts, your decisions, intellect, you can't see, but you're able to take decisions. So those are all, they form the subtle body. And then in the deep sleep, what is the reason for your what you call body to wake up again, come to this state? So these are the different concepts we have. So the physical body is just a house, or you can treat it as a vehicle. That's about it. So basically, the physical entity which we see are we have a consciousness, Chetna, then we have subtle body, and then we have a gross body, the physical body, which we are able to perceive with the five senses.
So then the Jeevatma, which we refer to, takes the another body after one body is, that the limit of one body is finished. Is that so?
Absolutely. That's true. So it is the Jeevatma. Now the component, I'll just give a brief components of the Jeevatma, what the Jeevatma is made up of. So of course, it's a long answer, but I'll try to condense it. So what happens is we have Pancha Karmendriyas, by which the organs of action. Then we have Pancha Pranas, the Vayu, which the air which we are breathing inside, go is known as uh, Pancha Prana because when it enters the body, it does five different functions. So Pancha Pranas. Then we have Pancha Gyanendriyas, the power of seeing, the power of hearing, the power of smell, the power of taste, and the power of touch. So we are using different organs for this. For example, eyes are able to see, but the ability to see is very subtle. A blind person has eyes, but he doesn't have the vision, he can't see. Similarly, when you have a bad cold, you may have a nose, but you can't smell. Similarly, a deaf person externally he may have ears, but he can't hear. Similar, when we had COVID, one of the things we forgot taste. We couldn't taste anything. So similarly, about touch, If something is very, very, what do you call, the skin is burnt or something, you can't feel the touch in that area. So similarly, you may have external equipment, but the subtle instrument which perceive may not be there. They are known as Gyanendriyas. So these five karmendriyas, five pranas, and five uh, sources of knowledge, these 15, mind, intellect, and ego, these together they form the subtle body. And this subtle body is one which actually is living inside the physical body, and that leaves the body when it becomes useless or diseased, old, or when it meet with an accident, or in case of some cases suicide. Jeevatma is the one which leaves as a subtle body, and then depending on its karmic load, it takes a next body.
So there is no end over here. I
There
mean,
is a
then there is a rebirth where, according to the karmic account, Jeevatma takes the another body. So when is the end then?
Exactly. That is why we have the Vedas, the Upanishads, and the study of scriptures. Because how long you are going to play this game of coming and going, coming and going? So one day you would say, "Ah, I would like to know what my real nature is." So the drop again and again, it is, let's say, it becoming steam and going into the clouds, becoming a drop of water, falling down into the river, traveling all the way to ocean, and again. So someday it will say, I want to know whether I'm actually an ocean. I'm no more a drop. So the moment we know that the Jivatma is nothing other than the Paramatman, for that we need the proper study of scriptures, understanding the guidance of a guru, and our own efforts. Then it will make you understand that I am not different from the ocean. For example, the waves, there are multiple waves in the ocean, right? Small waves, big waves. So the wave might think that I'm so mighty, I'm so small, or whatever it is. But is the wave different from the water? Wave is also water, and it is also part of ocean. It is not different from ocean. So the moment the wave subsides, it is ocean itself. So the moment of realization is that we know that we are not different from the Brahman or the Ishvara or the Paramatman. The whole cycle of coming and going is to know this.
So to know, when you say to know, means it comes to the knowledge. It's the understanding. It's not an action where you have to perform anything like there's a karma yoga, there is a gyan yoga. So where this relates to the gyan yoga. Is that so?
What happens is, initially when you are in nursery or upper KG, lower KG, you draw pictures, then you understand A for apple, you see a picture of apple, then you relate it to apple, right? So gradually when you go to higher classes, and then you find the pictures are slowly disappearing and there is only text. So today you are able to read a novel without a single picture and imagine the entire thing in your mind, understand what's happening, correct? So similarly, initially we worship a form of God. We slowly go beyond the image, and we are able to see, for example, if you see a small pot of clay, hmm, then we say it's a clay pot. Then there are so many items made of clay. Or if you go to a goldsmith, buying some gold ornaments during weddings, we go and try to shop. Then we ask the shopkeeper, show me a ring, show me a bangle, show me a necklace. Now we are actually buying, we are looking at forms, small forms. When you are billed, what is the shopkeeper billing you for? Is it billing you for ring or bangle or necklace? He is billing you for the gold. Similarly, when you want to sell those ornaments, what is the value? Value is of the gold, not of the form. So this is what we need to understand. So this understanding will come from reflection, from first of all, from study, from hearing, then reflecting upon the truth, and finally, when you are in meditation, you realize that this is the final truth.
That was my next question actually. Does meditation help in understanding this realization? And if so, then which kind of meditation? Because there are various types of meditation in the scriptures. I'm not sure about the scriptures because I haven't read all the scriptures, but I have seen that there are various types of meditation. So what kind of meditation one has to practice to understand this knowledge?
In Advaita Vedanta, it is said Mananam, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. So Shravanam is first to hear from the master, the guru, the scriptural truths. Then by Mananam, you slowly overcome your doubts. Whatever doubts you have, you keep thinking. Then you go to the guru again, you go to the scriptures, you ask the same question, you try to find out answers and clear your doubts. Slowly, when your doubts are cleared, then you go for Nididhyasana. That means now you're slowly. For example, when we were young, parents gave us a name. Then they started calling us by that name. So it took us some time for us to register that so and so is my name. Right? Now that name has become us. So even in when you are asleep and somebody calls very loudly your name, you'll get up. Or while you're working in a market, crowded market, and somebody shouts your name, you're bound to turn your head and find out who's calling me from where this who correct. So knowledge has become your own. It is not different. You will respond to that. Similarly, when you understand that my nature is not different from the ultimate reality of the truth, that can happen by Nididhyasana. And the same thing when you sit in silence and see, meditation is not something which you do. Meditation is your own real being. So what happens is different techniques are advised by different gurus based on the suitability of the disciple. What suits you best? That is the reason different techniques of meditations are given, but ultimately it is to still the mind which is full of desires, full of thoughts. So when you go beyond the thought and understand the source of the thought, then you know who you are.
So from there comes the concept of oneness in Advait Vedanta, that we all are one. We all are one, same.
True, we all are really one. For example, just now we spoke about gold ornaments. So suppose you keep 5 or 6 different types of ornaments on the table and ask somebody who is new to what you call, who doesn't know anything about gold. He just sees the ornament. He'll say, you may ask, what is this? He may say, this is a ring, this is a bangle, this is a necklace, this is a pile. So he will see only the form, but he will never say it is gold. But if you take all ornaments to a shop and then try to sell, it will be just weighed and you will pay for the gold. Similarly, suppose you go to a temple, or if there is a wooden murti or a murti of stone in your house, whatever part of the murti you are touching, what exactly are you touching? Are you touching the feet of the Lord, the hands, uh, the head? No, wherever you touch, you are touching only either the stone or the wood. So the wood is pervading the entire murti, or the stone is pervading the entire murti. Similarly, the gold is pervading the entire ornaments. Similarly, all human beings are having the same consciousness. There's no difference in that. If there are 4 different races of people, are Negroid, or Mongoloid, right? A Chinese, an American, a European, an Indian, all are sitting together. If you look at the eyes of a European, it could be very light colored, bluish or greenish, right? His skin will be very fair. Similarly, a Negro will be having a very dark skin, very curly hair. His eyes will be also black. His lips will be very big. Now, outwardly, all these things are different, but do they have the same consciousness? Let me give one more example. Suppose you feel thirsty and you go to someone's house and say, "Give me a glass of water," right? Now, suppose you specify that if you bring water only in a golden glass, I'll feel what do you call my thirst. I'll feel satisfied. Or if I say I need only what you call silver glass, or a stainless steel glass, or a brass glass, or a bronze glass, no. Even if the water is brought in a mud pot, it will quench your thirst. So water is what is important. So not the vessels. Outwardly, the vessels are all different, but the content in all the vessels is the same water, which will actually quench your thirst. Similarly, all people outwardly they may look different, but in essence, the life energy or the life force within each body functioning is the same. Like in your own home, there is a air conditioner, there's a fan, there is a heater. Hmm. So many different appliances. Now each appliance is actually doing something different. Air conditioner it is giving you a feeling of very cold air. uh, Temperature is coming down. In a heater the temperature is rising. In a fan there is a mechanical motion. In a mixie it is doing something else. But electricity is one, it is not different, correct? So similarly the oneness of all human beings is understood only in Sanatana Dharma. That's why we don't have any conflict.
So you have mentioned about the consciousness. So can you simplify what is exactly the consciousness for the beginners?
Okay, let's understand in a very simple language. Consciousness is like electricity without which no appliances can function, right? So, minus the consciousness, whichever kind of body you may be, it may be there, whether it is a bird, animal, human being, insect, anything. If consciousness is missing, then it can't function. It is not a Chetna. So, Chetna is the one which is actually making everything else function.
So, sir, just confusion. I have a curiosity to understand this thing. So, when you say there is a Chetna, so that Chetna and Jeevatma is the same over here?
No, no, no. Jeevatma is actually matter, okay, but it is moving within the consciousness. For example, like space, all objects are moving within the space, correct? So Jeevatma has got certain body which is actually going to different bodies. It is able to do so only because it is consciousness is there which is driving it. It is conscious about itself. That's why it is said in there is a Garbhopanishad in which the baby in the womb also knows its all the previous janmas and whatever it has done, what is its goal and everything. But the moment it comes out, it forgets because the Maya is so strong, makes you forget your real purpose.
Once you understand, this is all about knowing about and realization about. Can you say that that is the last life of human when he is aware about his realization?
Yes, we have in Sanatana Dharma, something called Jivan Mukta. That means the moment you realize that you are not this limited entity called body, or the mind, or the intellect, or the false ego, which you have that sense of identity as a limited body, mind, and intellect, then you cross over. The moment I know that I am the same consciousness principle existing in the entire creation, not just humans, but the entire creation itself, and I establish in that knowledge firmly, that is the time I start living with total freedom. Remember, I said moksha is not freedom from action, but freedom in action. There is a shloka in Bhagavad Gita in which Arjuna asks, how does a jnani, one who has attained what you call this knowledge, how does he sit? How does he move? How does he talk? All these questions he asks. And Krishna says, outwardly you can't find out because he is still in the body. But then he is totally free. And he knows the truth that I am not different from anything else. Correct. I am the gold. I am not an ornament anymore.
Sir, I have one. I mean, there is one curious question I have, and I guess many of today's generation must have this question. It's about Charles Darwin theory of evolution,
Okay.
right? How do we connect with Sanatan or Advait Vedanta, the theory of evolution? That he says that there is a the species, human species, are evolving, or any of the species which are living is evolving. It's a process of evolution. So, is it mentioned in Advait Vedanta, in Sanatana Dharma?
Sanatana Dharma, we have a concept of avatars, Dashavataras, you must have heard, right from Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha onwards, right? So Kalki is the 10th avatar, which we are supposed to be awaiting for in this Yuga. Now, every one of us, and there's also a concept of Chaurasi Lakh Yonia, which means 8.4 million bodies we exhaust. So we see a variety of creatures in this creation. Even on planet Earth, we see right from a amoeba, single cellular organism to a complex human being. So what are these bodies? How are we, what do you call, there is, animals are also what you call able to breed, they're able to eat, they're able to move, they have got emotions, they got some intelligence, they can protect themselves, they're able to find food. So what happens is the Jeevatma is evolving over a period of time because nothing can happen all of a sudden. Like knowledge, when you go to school from first standard child and a 10th standard child and a PhD student doesn't have the same level of knowledge. It is evolving. So similarly, these Jivatmas, which have so-called feeling of separateness from the whole, that is because of the karmas or it could be sanskaras, vasanas. There are a lot of other things which are related to this. So over a period of lifetimes, we evolve. When we walk the path, I start evolving on this slowly. And then finally, in one of the lifetimes, you'll know the truth and you feel liberated. But Advaita Vedanta uh, is far, far deeper than what all things we discussed just now. It goes much, much beyond that. In Advaita Vedanta, they may say there is no creation at all. So that's a very, very higher level of knowledge, which will take a lot of study, reflection to understand, which is beyond the scope of this
Today's
right now.
episode.
Yes.
So, does it also goes back 65 million years ago, back to the dinosaurs evolution? Because where it says that there was as per the science, that there was a uh, um, uh,
Big Bang.
no Big Bang, but asteroid. The asteroid was hit to the Earth, and dinosaurs were
These timelines are very, very tiny compared to what we have in Sanatana Dharma.
right.
So the time, in fact, time or the kala, it is known as kala in Sanatana Dharma or in Sanskrit. The beginning. Beginning is, how do we perceive time? Time is something which you perceive, otherwise there will be no time. Tell me, can you perceive time when you are in deep sleep or when somebody is given anesthesia? Is there a sense of time? When you have a very good sleep, when you get up, did you know how much time elapsed? during the state of deep sleep. There was no concept of time, correct? Similarly, suppose you are locked up in a pitch dark room without a single source of light, nothing at all. Will you be able to perceive time? You will not be able to perceive time. Now, time is a perception of the mind. It is limited. It is created. So time is a difference between perception of between two different events. For example, sunrise, there is an event, dawn. Then sun is rising, becoming noon. Then it is becoming dark. Similarly, the seasons are changing. Hmm. So time is a perception between two events. If there is no event, you can't perceive time. So there is in Sanātana Dharma or Advait Vedanta, that's why there is no beginning and there is no end. So time is what we perceive through the mind. And when there is no mind, there is no time. Like in deep sleep, there is no time. So all these questions, they arise only when you are in this particular state, which is known as Jagrat Avastha or the waking state. This dinosaurs, asteroids, galaxies, all this we perceive only in one particular state of mind.
And Advait Vedanta is beyond mind.
There is no concept of time as such. It is always present. Tell me one thing. Is there actually a past or a future? Or is it only in your mind?
It's in the mind.
It's a thought, correct? And that thought also is always in the present. So there is neither a past nor a future. Actually, everything is always in the present. That's why there's a saying, past is a history, future is a mystery. The only time you have is now. That's why it is known as a present, a gift.
So that's the reason spiritually is always a one step ahead than the science.
Yes, spirituality is the ultimate science. It is also a science, but not of this world. It goes beyond the world and tells you the truth. That's why spiritual science is known as Adhyatma Jnana. So there is a Paravidya and a Aparavidya. Now, Paravidya is all the knowledge of things and beings and happenings of the world, of Jagat. Of not Jagat means not only limited to this earth, but also the entire cosmos, that is galaxy or the universe. Okay, these are objects. So here we are studying so many different subjects, hundreds of subjects, from engineering to medicine to law to politics to so economics to so many things. But all this knowledge will remain here and will die the moment of death arrives. Finished. That's the end of the knowledge. A doctor who dies, if he's reborn, he doesn't remember that he was a doctor. He has to study again. But with the spiritual knowledge, it's very different. Whatever sadhana which you do, whatever spiritual knowledge and understanding you gain in this lifetime will never go in waste. You'll carry it with you, and when you come back, you start from a one step higher than what you actually left. So spiritual knowledge goes beyond the material world and tells you about the subtle world, one that which is not seen by the eyes or perceived by the senses. That's why it is known as Paravidya.
Advait Vedanta also mentions about Ashtavakra. There's Ashtavakra Gita. Can you shed some light on what is exactly the what is Ashtavakra Gita and how do beginners can understand this thing?
Now there are many Gitas. Gita basically means one which can be sung, basically. For example, in Bhagavad Gita is a dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna. And in Ramayana also there are so many Gitas are there. Vibhishana Gita, Ram Gita, Lakshmana Gita, Purjana Gita. So now Astavakra Gita is a dialogue between Sri Rama and Sage Vasishtha. So here Sage Vasishtha is the guru and Sri Rama is the disciple, and he is asking a lot of questions. And the dialogue between these two are condensed and in a text which are popularly known as Astavakra Gita. So it is also a very, very deep spiritual scripture like Bhagavad Gita.
So which book you suggest for this beginners, in context to Advait Vedanta?
Now we have 6 different darshanas to begin with. So Vedanta, and in that also Advaita Vedanta is one of the darshanas. Now darshanas means the philosophies. So there are 6 different philosophies: Sankhya, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, Yoga. These are the philosophies. So Vedanta is one of the philosophies. So Advaita Vedanta, I am a student of Advaita Vedanta. So which is non-duality, that there is no difference. There is only one. There are not many. The many are actually different forms of the one. That is what is Advaita Vedanta deals with, and that is what all the Vedas teach us basically. So for the beginners, it is always good to start with Vedanta Sara. So Vedanta Sara will give you the building blocks step by step. How what to understand. Knowledge always, remember, Jenish, it's starts from what you know, from the known to the unknown. So what is known to us? First, our body is known to us. So the knowledge starts from our body, and then it will go to certain levels like mind. We have yet to understand what mind is, because mind we can't see, but we can feel it. That's how the journey begins, from the known to the unknown. Even in algebra, an equation is given in which it will be say, let whatever is unknown be x, let it be x. So we have to find the value of x. Then certain values will be given, and we, by going step by step, we solve, and then in the end we get the value of x. And that value, when you put in the equation becomes correct. So right now, this unknown factor, who am I? Correct. I think I am this body. I'm limited. From there, I have to journey into something to know and understand that I am everything. So it's a huge journey.
Which comes to my last question, sir. What is the purpose of knowing all these things? Purpose of the life, existence?
Purpose of life. We already discussed that the last Purushartha is moksha, which is to be attained in sannyasa ashrama. Right? Now, moksha is total freedom in action. So whatever I wish to do, I can do. Suppose you are made uh, emperor of this world, you are given total freedom. Correct? You are free to do whatever you like. Like we children enjoy Sundays because they don't have to go to school, they can play, right? Every creature wants freedom. No creature wants to live in bondage, right? Similarly, a human being also doesn't want to live in bondage. So he keeps asking, okay, like we all like promotions when we start doing a job, we all like profits, our company must grow. We all want what you call more and more happiness. So we always seek happiness and we always try to avoid sorrow. So these are the two what you call primary forces which drive us. One is we want total happiness. I don't want to be unhappy even for a second, right? I don't want sorrow at all in my life. So my constant effort is to gain ultimate happiness where I'll be always happy. I'll never be in sorrow. I'll never be disappointed. I'll never be sad. So that is the state we all are searching for.
Thank you, Venkat sir, for sharing the wisdom. And I'm sure, I mean, I feel, this episode has been so much heavy with your knowledge. And I'm sure it will help so many seekers to understand and to grow in their journey, spiritual journey. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Jenish, for the opportunity.
Yeah,
I'm
and
so
I'm sure,
happy
sir,
to.
we will have a more podcast, more episodes with you. I mean, there is so much to know from you, and on various topics, because Advait Vedanta is a
It's an ocean. It's an
is an
ocean of
ocean
knowledge.
actually, right? So yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hari Om.